boy, Mr. Tyrone McKinney. We here on the Law Talk, man. Got a special guest with me. She really don't need no introductions, but she's gonna introduce herself so she let y'all know who she is.
Hey, if you don't know who I am, it's Ayana Milton, but everybody who knows me for real, they call me Yanni, and I am the CEO of Taste the Flavors.
Taste the flavors. What type of flavors do you have? What type of food do you do? Is it food? Is it drinks? Is it
So Taste the Flavors is whatever you need it to be. If you need me to cater your event for food, we can handle that. If you need drinks, we handle that. If you need cakes, pastries, cookies, we handle that too. So it's whatever you need, we create for you. Of course, we have a catering menu, but I like to cater to my customer more than what my menu is. I like to cater to my people because like everybody can't afford everything. So my catering menu is very flexible to what you can afford, so you have quality food at your events.
so you basically saying you could cook everything like
If I can't cook it, Karen can, and that's my mother. We in business together.
okay, my bad. Is it because you know we black, so is it just soul food? Is it
No.
any different?
So we do Caribbean food, we
Okay.
do Spanish food,
Okay.
Italian food, of course, the African American specialties.
Mm.
We handle all of that. My mom actually went to school to be a dietetic technician, so she can cook any form of food that fits your dietary needs. So we do it all. My mom even made a whole kosher meal for a Jewish community before. So yeah, so we're everywhere and we do everything. And if we can't figure it out, we're gonna figure it out.
And I'm being honest with y'all, I tasted her food a million times. Definitely delicious. No cap over here.
Nah, you definitely my taste tester. Like Tyrone, come try this. He look, all right.
So
No questions
y'all
asked
know I ain't
ever.
gonna lie. Y'all know me. Y'all know I don't really be in the kitchen like that. So
Yep, we
yeah, I
trying to
mean,
keep you out the kitchen.
as y'all should. My favorite thing that she does make is desserts. Do you want to speak on the desserts? Because I ain't gonna front everybody. If you ever go to like her social media after this, we're gonna ping her social media. She gonna let you know where you can find her, and just watch and look at how many people comment, how many people like her post, the type of desserts and food that she posts. But my favorite is definitely the dessert.
That's everyone's favorite right now. So I started my banana pudding cake probably a year ago.
The
Just to
famous banana pudding cake.
just
Don't
to
let her leave that part off.
I actually got sent a Facebook picture and it was like, I want this. I'm like, what is it? And then she was like, the banana pudding cake. I'm like, all right. So I went into the kitchen and I finessed my own cake just to see how it would come out. The first year last year, I think I sold 30 cakes Mother's Day weekend, and that was just Mother's Day weekend. And I just took a break from it for a second. Um, had some family issues I had to deal with for a little bit, took a break, and then I jumped back into it January of this year. And ever since then, the cakes have been going nonstop. And I also added like 4 new cakes since then. So I have my banana pudding cake, the strawberry crunch cake, Tyrone's favorite, the
Come on.
caramel apple
Oh.
pie pound cake, the peach cobbler cake. I have a cookies and cream cake. I do a strawberry crunch cheesecake, a cookies and cream cheesecake. My when my vision goes, I just go in the kitchen and try to recreate what I'm thinking just to see how it comes out. A lot of the times, it's just something I thought of and just put it together, and then I give it to my friends to see how it comes out. Just because I don't know.
Do you ever get like inspiration from social media, or like is a lot of it just you going in the kitchen saying, "Let me see if I,
So
just like
social
you."
media, yes, because sometimes a lot of my friends will see things on Facebook and they'll send it to me. They're like, Yanni, can you do this? I never say no. I'm never gonna say no that I can't do it, but I gotta try first. Um,
I respect
if
that.
I do it and then it doesn't come out right, at least I can say I tried it, but I'll never tell them no.
I respect that. That's listen. I feel like in the kitchen, I know a lot of people say like, "Oh, nah, it's easy. All you gotta do is." I really think like it takes a special skill to cook and especially bake. As simple as it is just turn the oven on, putting something in the oven, right? It's as simple as the concept sounds. It's actually to me a difficult process. So I personally feel like I don't want to say you got to be born with it because ain't nobody born knowing how to cook, but you definitely got to like have this special skill already embedded into you in order to know certain things. Because to be able to just say, all right, let me go in the kitchen and try it, not everybody can do that.
No, but I also feel like that goes into like any field of work that you do. You have to love what you do, or you won't succeed in a way. can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna go in the kitchen and try this and whatever. No, but then you just be giving out whatever type of product. Like you gotta love what you do, because I feel like with baking, with cooking, you gotta pour love into your food, because you don't want to just serve anything, because that's when the people are like, oh, that was nasty, because you didn't like it. If you didn't like how you went in cooking it, it comes out nasty. That's where I feel like that.
So glad you said that, right? Because I feel like that's my problem. It's because I don't like cooking. So when I gotta cook something, I'm sure you're probably gonna agree that it shows, right? That it shows I didn't feel like cooking it, but I had to, because I gotta eat something.
But even when you do want to cook, it still shows that you didn't want to cook, because it
No,
just looks terrible.
what it is I might have the taste for something, and I'd be like, damn, y'all, I need this right now. So let me try it. But it's not really like, there is no passion for me to want to do it, because realistically, I don't want to do it. You get what I'm saying? But at that point in time, it's probably like I have to, So let me just do what I got to do. But it definitely shows that I don't want to be up in that kitchen. Like,
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
we as
Like,
a collective agree.
the whole world
As a
does.
collective, we agree you don't need
So
to be in the
hold on,
kitchen at all.
hold on. So, but you gotta. I understand presentation is everything, because I'm not gonna lie. When I see like your food, it's like, all right, I do want to try it. So, but realistically, I haven't really tasted my food. So, is it just the presentation that says I ain't about to eat that?
100,000%.
All right.
A lot of people are visual. So if it doesn't look aesthetically visual for somebody to try it, they're not gonna try it. It might.
Come on. Nah. Give me some. Yep.
It may or may not taste good.
That's crazy. We didn't have to throw that last part on it. You know what I'm saying?
So it may or may not taste good to you, but the rest of us are not even going to try it because of just how it looks on the plate.
So if I present it better, would you be inclined to just try and taste it?
Absolutely not.
That's crazy. Y'all see?
Absolutely not.
I was trying to get her to shake my hand on camera so we could have this so everybody could see, but she don't even want to do
I'll
that.
shake your hand and say that I ain't gonna try it. So
We can't do that. We can't do that. It could be something simple.
Like?
I don't know. Whatever you think is
so you just
simple.
say you don't know, so you don't even know what simple is. We not about to
It
play
could be something simple that I could try and make, and then we could take it from
the only person I know
there.
that has every gadget in the kitchen and still can't use none of them.
Because it's for aesthetics. What you call it? Aesthetics?
Right, it's for the aesthetics.
It looks nice
you buy
in the kitchen.
food for the air fryer, and somehow it still come out crazy. So
because
like,
I feel like, especially for somebody like me who doesn't really cook like that, I need stuff like that, like the air fryer. I need like that rice cooker, because me trying to do it in a pot, I ain't even gonna play myself like that. So I need something that's basically doing it for me in a sense, where I just gotta look at it. I mean, I put my wings or whatever in the air fryer. I just gotta look at it, shake it up real quick, put it back in there. I'm good after that. Like, you get what I'm saying?
And that right there, that's exactly why I don't want none.
See?
You don't even do.
No, but you know what it is too. It could also be, what if I don't, but what if I do season it up, correctly, to the point where, like, maybe you might want to try. Maybe I might use the right seasoning, right? But y'all never know, because y'all never try it.
You're right. After you asked me what seasoning was when we was in the grocery store,
listen,
I know for a fact you don't.
It was
use no
a specific. It was a specific one, because I do have seasonings, but I just have regular stuff. So it'd be like, I don't know how to like really mix them together. But like I said, I feel like in the kitchen, you gotta have that thing that makes you wanna, like, because you could probably experiment on something in the kitchen, and it may come out good because you already cooked. As for me, I can't really.
But that's not always true. So just because you experiment on something in the kitchen doesn't always mean that it comes out good. That's why I always have, like, what might be nasty to me, it might come out good to somebody else. That's why I was like, let me have someone else try it, because I might not like it. But if someone else tries it, it might be a little different. Or you have someone try it and they can tell you, like, tweak it here or there, or add a little less of this to make it differently.
So is that more or less like the season? Because I feel like
it depends on what you're making.
If you know seasonings, right, which I don't, but if you know seasonings, right, you can make something and add the right seasonings. I feel like what might be off a little bit might be the texture. Maybe you were looking for a certain, consistency or something like that might be off, right? But I feel like if you know how to season food, I don't think that it can really come out nasty or super nasty because you have the formula for seasoning down. So I feel like even if you did try something in the kitchen, you know how to season food to where like it may not be the right, like I said, texture or consistency that you were looking for, but
Yeah.
it might not taste nasty. Whereas
True.
you get what I'm saying. So I feel like I think that's why people gravitate like to like your desserts and your food and stuff because people already know it's going to even if it might have got messed up a little bit, right? Which never happened. But even if it did, people would still be more inclined to taste it because they already know you have like a certain formula down when it comes to the desserts and the food and how to season it and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? So jumping into that, right? You get a lot of requests. Most of the time, is it local? Is it people who you don't know that may have seen your page before, or is a lot of it from the community we live in?
So I'll say 60% of it this go around was people who just from people who I know who have brought my cake,
Mm.
who have brought my cakes to around other people who I've never met. So I think I've met maybe 40 or 50 new people in the last couple of months because they seen my cake on someone else's page from them posting it. So
Okay.
they wanted to try the cake. Or I have brought the cakes to like facilities like kind of DDSO. They got cakes. So that's a whole nother facility of people that I don't know. Um, my cakes have been in Brooklyn, New Jersey, Middletown, Kingston, um, here of course,
Connecticut.
Connecticut. So we are like a little well-rounded. I'm working on this summer trying to get to North Carolina, but I got family down there,
Mm.
so I'm trying to branch out over there, and I got to get to Georgia. I got some places out there that want me to bring the cakes to. So that's my next thing is just getting out of town and going other places with my cakes.
So I guess for you, you would say like local support is good because due to the local support, it helps you to branch out. You would say local support is good
I
because
say
I
local
know
support is
it's not for everybody.
I say local support is good, and it's not on a favoritism standpoint of saying like, oh, they just like my cake because they know me situation. Because when I tell people to get the cake, I'm like, yo, be very honest because these are new people probably who've never tried my cake before, and if they like it, that means they liked it, especially when it's someone you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm never gonna say like, oh, the people who have tried my cake are people that I know, so they're just saying it because they like me. Absolutely not. The people I know are brutally honest, so they would definitely tell me if it wasn't good, if it wasn't right, if it didn't taste right. They would definitely tell me. But a lot of my cakes that I sold were repeat customers or people who went bought 2 or 3 cakes, came back bought 3 or 4 cakes. So like that's where most of my cake sales were the last couple months. Is the same recurring people coming back, getting 2 more cakes, 3 more cakes for whatever they need them for.
So let me ask you this then. How do you stand out, right? And this is just, you know, not everywhere in the world is like this, but in our town where we grow up, it's not super big, right? But it seems like everybody's selling plates and stuff. So how do you make yourself stand out in a community like this where everybody's selling plates? I mean, you could go to a restaurant, you could go to a restaurant around here or whatever and get soul food, get Jamaican food, but then you also have people selling plates out of their house or whatever. I will say as far as the desserts, nobody else is really doing that. So you have that, but you also, like you said, you make all different types of food. So how do you stand out from the rest?
Just being myself.
Okay.
I promote me more than anything. So like if people know me and they know like the quality of food that we do give out, they're like, oh, they're back in the kitchen. Oh, we've been waiting for her. Like so it's one of
Yeah.
those types of situations. But I'm not here every week or every month. So like when we do pop out, everybody's excited for it. So it's like, oh, they're back in the kitchen. So like then we're like that. But also pride myself on if I'm cooking, I'll call my people like, you guys eat today? Nobody ate. I give out plates. I give out food. I give
Mm.
out things. So when it is time to sell a plate, I have no problem with making the money because they're gonna come back and pour back into me like I pour into them. So when it comes to the desserts things, like I said, shout out to my girl Ari, shout out to Star Myers, shout out to Janae, because those are the women that I watch a lot when they were doing their own things, making their own cakes and treats and stuff like that. Anytime I needed a question on how to fix something or to make something, those 3 ladies never batted an eye to answer a question for me. It was not like a competition. So I respect that because a lot of times when you ask somebody for help, they want to know what you want it for and they never looked at it as that. It was just me just needing help. So
Do you feel like if you were to do it more often than you do you feel like that would diminish the quality in it? Like, do you feel like when people are making plates, let's say every other day or, every week or, 3 times a month or whatever, right?
mhm.
If they do do you feel like if you did it more frequently, that it would sort of like people wouldn't really gravitate towards it so much because you're doing it so much?
I don't think so. I think people, honestly, I think anywhere, people pay for quality. People
Mm-hmm.
will pay for quality. It don't matter if it's 10 times a week, 10 times a month. People like quality, so people will pay for quality. I've known, but I'm one of those people. I'll pay for quality. I
No,
don't,
I
like
get that. No,
if
that's,
you cooking 5 times a week and I know your food is good, I'm gonna find you at least 3 of them if I can't do all 5. Like people pay
mm,
for quality
no, I get
in
that.
anywhere. So I don't think so. That's why I said with my mom, I was talking to her. I said we got to figure out how to get back into the groove of how we were before, because she works, I work, but it's just like our schedules just never align. And I said we have to make our schedules align in order for
Mm.
this to work. Because like I said, she does me and her do it together. So that's been the thing. I told her summertime is coming. I said we got to start popping back out to these events together. Like we got to, instead of just going, be there. Like a lot of people know of us, but they don't know us. So we kind of got to like get back out there so everybody can see who we are and
Now,
what we're doing.
which I think I should, because definitely, especially in the summertime and stuff like that, when it do get nice, realistically, especially there's a lot of people like me. Like, I don't feel like cooking. We don't want to cook. It's too hot. So if you cooking, I already know your food good. You saving me, you know what I mean, time in the kitchen and dishes and stuff like that. Now, let me ask you this: Do you feel like pricing matters, right? Because I feel like that's where the competitiveness comes in at. Because even if like you said, people do pay for quality. However, some people may look at certain, you know, plates or whatever and be like, yeah, I don't want to pay, let's just say 25. I don't want to pay $25 for that. They may feel like they're not getting big enough portions, or maybe the food may not be worth $25. So do you feel like pricing matters, in a town like this where everybody cooks?
Pricing definitely matters, but it
Mm-hmm.
also, like you said, let's just go with the base point of 25, right? What comes with the 25 is the question. You know what I mean? So like, if I'm spending 25, some people get like you get one side, one protein, and then like 2 sides, and that's it for
Yeah,
25. But then you'll get the plate and you'll open it like, where's the rest of it? You know
skimpy.
what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like that has happened to me a few times. But if the food was good on the inside, I'm not gonna complain too much. But I don't want to spend 25. I don't have a lot on my plate and it was nasty because now I'm mad. You know what I mean? In a way.
I
Um,
get that.
but I do think price point is a thing. But you also got to see like what are we buying for? Because like I said, um, prices of meats have gone up drastically. Like for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, chicken will
We know
cost
the
you like
reason.
$100 a case anymore, and it didn't cost like that before. Beef now is like almost twice the amount it was 3 months ago. So a lot of the times when we're making our price points, we're trying to factor in the price that we paid for what we're putting out. Like cheese right now, if you're making macaroni and cheese, is highly expensive as well. Depending
Cheese?
also cheese, like 6 pound bag of cheese at Restaurant Depot right now could run you $14.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's just like minimum. But like when people are making the price points for their plates, they're also factoring how much they have to pay to get it back,
Mm-hmm.
or what they pay. Or let's just say it's like a 1 day thing. They're trying to make that money back. So technically, when we make that money back, we didn't make any profit back. We just broke even on making whatever money back that we made for buying the ingredients. Now anything else after that is what the profit is. So that's where the price points come in for a lot of these things. Like if someone's selling lamb, you should be expecting to pay 30. Someone's selling salmon, should be expecting to pay 30.
Because
I'm
the
saying like
price
if
of
you
it is.
because of
Yeah,
the price
I get that. I
and
do
it's
get that.
technically like quality meats. So like that's the thing there.
I get that. I get that. That
Seafood is expensive. So
yeah,
if
that
anybody's
that
selling
makes sense
shrimp
to
and
me.
lobster, expect to pay $45 because a lot of that stuff we're getting at market value. So we gotta give you market value.
I get that. I can't be mad at that. I understand that from a business aspect. I Do you feel like the sides should be Because if they're paying more, obviously, like you said, because whatever the lamb or the salmon or whatever might be more, but would it could it be okay to like, I know I gotta charge them more, so let me just give them a little bit more as far as let's say like the sides and stuff like that. Do you feel like that's an even exchange, or do you feel like nah, it wouldn't really equal out as far as like the pricing? Because like you said, there's a point system that you're trying to profit because you ain't cooking for free.
Yeah, like I'm
So
gonna just speak on myself. Like if I ever sold plates, my plates are heavy.
they
They are
are.
heavy.
I agreed.
Um, I need you to feel like you bought this. Like
Hmm.
it comes with a drink. It comes with water or soda, or tea,
And that's another thing.
and
Not
it comes with
everybody
cake,
does that. Yeah, not
and it comes with
everybody.
cake, or
Or the
or
cornbread
the
that y'all be.
cornbread that we
Oh,
had last time.
hold on.
So like when I give you my price point, like I said, I tell you about bottom heavy. Hold it, like because it's heavy. So when you open it, you feel like I have something. Like you buy a plate for me, it'll last you 2 days, maybe, depending on
No,
who it is, or you can
that's a
split it
fact.
with two people because it's a heavy plate. It's a lot in there. It'll come with 2, 3 sides, and like I said, or the cornbread, or the cake, and it's soda, water, tea if you want that. It comes with it. That's why I say your price point has to make sense. With a lot of things.
Yeah, I get that. I feel like there are, and not just like in our town. Like even when I'm looking on social media, you see plates where like I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes it don't. To me, it don't make sense to pay what the person is asking for the plate, and it'd be like, yo, I could go, to a regular restaurant and get that. You know what I'm saying? And get for the same price. I'm getting way more than you know what you asking for. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes, to me, it's worth it. One, because like you said, the quality, so if the food is good. But then realistically, you know, I like soul food. I like rice and Jamaican food and Italian. I like all that stuff opposed to fast food because nowadays you paying about the same price. You get what I'm saying? For somebody's home cooked meal compared to McDonald's or something like that. Like you're paying about the same price. Now, we ain't gonna get too messy. We ain't gonna shout nobody out or nothing like that. But I know personally me, I can't eat from everybody. Do you feel the same? Even if you like, I know it's hard to try and support people,
No,
right? Because you want to, but
that's an
it's
agreement, yes. But I'm also who I am, so I definitely can sit here and say if anybody has been selling a plate, a drink, a snack, anything, I have bought it from everybody, more than once. Sometimes, we're all local around here. We're all supposed to be supporting each other around here, like whether.
I get it.
And a lot of times, if I buy plates, I give them to like the kids and stuff. Not because I don't want it, but they be like, oh, can I have some? As soon as the kids say, can I have some? There's no more left for me. But I support everyone, no matter what they're doing, because you can't knock some
Sometimes
people's hustle.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes you just gotta support by sharing the page.
I do that too.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. That's just me. Like, and I can't cook, right? But I know I'm a picky person, and I'm just being real. Like some people, I'm not eating their food. I can.
But I agree with you. Yes, I 1,000% agree with you. I might have bought some once and then probably not again, but I have supported.
I be looking like, nah. You look like,
See,
man,
but
you
there
ain't
we go
clean your
with the
kitchen.
visually aesthetic. It might not be the food; it could be the person, and that's
Fact.
another thing. And
That's a fact.
I'm not saying that's a problem because you might look at the person like, yeah, nah, I don't think I want that. Because that could possibly be what happens
I
a lot of the time.
agree because sometimes it don't really be the because somebody could make something that looks good as hell, right? And another thing is I don't cook like that, right? So I've definitely seen videos where somebody showed their plate looked magnificent. Yo, that looked good. But then I'm looking at their background in the video and it's like, oh, you was cooking in that. Oh yeah, nah, I'm good.
No,
Like
your kitchen is 100% the aesthetic, 100,000%.
not everybody. There's even, and not to jump off topic, but to me, it's equivalent to like sometimes I see a girl post like a picture of herself in the mirror, right? But she got clothes all over the floor behind her and shit.
No, it's
And
all the same concept.
you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like, yo, you can't expect somebody to like your pic or like you, and they see your background looking crazy. You know what I mean? To me, it's like the same thing with a plate of food. That food looked delicious, but when I peeping like the background and shit. It's like
You be, well, not really surprised, but a lot of people look at that when people post their foods in their houses and things like that, because they want to see what your kitchen looks like.
yeah, that's
They
a
want to
fact.
see what your house looks like. They want to see, those types of things, and that's 1,000% true. But if it looks like it's dirty in any face, form, or fashion, or if you live in a certain place, nobody wants certain
Yeah. No,
foods
that's
coming out of certain places.
agreed.
So
Agreed.
it happens. It does happen, but you know, and I agree. Like certain places, I'm not gonna buy it from. You know, it just be like that.
No,
But it's not like a snub to them or anything. But it
because
just
I
be
feel
that
like
way.
at a certain level of your kitchen, obviously, is probably going to be dirty, right? Because you're cooking, especially if you're cooking plates to go out, right? So I don't expect it to look super clean, but I feel like you can tell when like, nah, your kitchen always look like this. Like you ain't scrubbed that spot in mad like I could tell
Yeah,
that spot.
it can be like that. Cause like I
Mhm.
said, I now need a new stove, right? So like if you look at my stove now, it's all rusty and stuff like that. It's not that it's not clean; it just has that little stupid little things and stuff like the
Yeah,
coils and
but
all
you
that
could
stuff needs to
tell
be fixed. So
you
like
could
you can
tell
tell that
that.
it's
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
But
different than somebody
yeah, but
like
then you can look at people who got the splatter all behind the walls and
yeah.
like and things like the little piles of oil that's still stuck there and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So yeah, but you can. We were taught growing up to clean as you cook. So if it spills
Agreed.
or make a mess, you're cleaning as you go. So as the day goes on, it's not as much that you have to clean when you do it.
Nah, I agree. I
Because
agree with that.
you make a spill at that moment, you clean at that moment. Once that pot gets cleaned out, you clean that pot, put it to the side unless you're
And
using
then,
it again, and
yep.
then you clean as you go. We were always taught that. Well, my mom is a cook. My mom has been cooking my entire life. My mom has been in the kitchen her entire life, so I can't even tell you all the restaurants my mom has worked in. So, so in the household, it's like that. No dishes in the sink, no stuff like that. Clean as you go, no pots. She don't like dishes in her sink when you're done at night. Pack this up, clean that up. Don't that's just been my mom,
No,
like
I
our
agree
whole
with
lives.
that.
She has that restaurant movement in her head, and like even right now, she is the director of a kitchen at Orange County Jail. So she runs the kitchen. My mom has always run the kitchen. So like there's no such thing as dirt and stuff like that. She see a patch of dirt, she's sweeping it. Like there's no dirty kitchens with my mom.
No, I get that. That's how it should be, you know. But the reality is, it's not everybody. I don't think people think like that when they're like, because realistically, I think some people just make plates because obviously it might be quick money or whatever the case is, and they know that they got a little hand in the kitchen, so they might be doing it for that, but not really thinking about like people looking at their backgrounds like that. Like, is their kitchen clean? Like, is this person clean? Because sometimes, it's sad to say, but right, but it could be somebody and you known them for a while, and they ain't never been really super clean, but they making plates, and now it's like I'm not eating that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just real. That's just real. That's just
No, it's
being
like
real.
that.
Like,
It's like
you
that.
might know somebody for years, and then they pop out making plays, and it's like, I've been in your crib, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Like,
good.
yo,
I shared though. I like
I
your
shared,
post.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we about to go to a commercial break. After this commercial break, we're gonna talk about some more. We're gonna talk about some events that you do, some stuff that you got coming up. So y'all just stay tuned on the Love Talk, man.
We'll be back.
Y'all already know what this is, man. We back on the Love Talk. We still here with Miss Yanni. Let them know where they can find you, so they can tell them your IG, Facebook, all of that, where you promote your business at.
So my IG is underscore taste the flavors underscore. So taste the flavors is spelled TasteTheFlavaz. And Facebook, I'm working on that one right now. I haven't got that one yet. So
All right, so
Instagram is really where you can find everything. I post almost everything there. That's where the information is. If you need to book an order, everything goes through Instagram right now. I'm trying to keep everything off my personal page and onto my business page, so it's just easier to find me there because orders were getting messed up and stuff because I'm still
Yeah.
using my personal page as my
Cool.
personal page, so stuff is getting skipped and things. But always make it right. So Instagram is the best way to book me for an order.
So check out on IG. And I mean, everybody use IG anyway for the most part. Like Facebook, I feel like it's for like, family and stuff like that. IG, if you got a business, IG is definitely the way to go. Don't forget to make a TikTok too. Put your
Yeah.
cakes and stuff up
Gotta
there.
make it
That'll
small.
definitely boost it up even more. So So what I want to talk to you about is you do this event every year. I mean, I'm gonna let you explain, most of it just to give y'all a brief synopsis of it. But she does this wonderful event every year for fathers on Father's Day, around Father's Day. It's a big, you know, basically all you eat buffet for me. I didn't tell y'all what it is, but I'm gonna let her explain it,
Buffet is wild,
explain
but
the
you got it.
reason, explain why she does it, why, how it started and everything like that. So, the floor is yours. Just let them know. But it's definitely a dope event. If you never got to go, it's invite only, so I can't help you there. But you know what I'm saying? It's definitely
Heavy
a
on the
wonderful.
invite only.
Yeah, it's definitely a wonderful event. But I'm gonna let her explain it. Let them know, where it started, why you started doing it,
Okay.
and
So I'm gonna explain the invite only part. And the reason why it's invite only, and it's not because I don't want to represent every man that wants to show up. It's because my elders are there, and whether they're men or women, I need to make sure people who come respect them more than anything. I don't like a whole lot of cursing around them, a lot of smoking, a lot of all that stuff. That's why they stay inside and everything else can happen outside. But some people don't have etiquette.
yeah. No, I get that.
And not that you're a bad dad or person, but if you don't have normal etiquette and I just can't sit you in a room with grown folks and
You ain't coming.
you know how to just be an adult and be grown, I can't allow you to come. I have a zero tolerance policy at my Father's Day event. I don't care if it's kids, any of those. Because the kids got into it one year, I made them hug it out because at the end of the day, this is a family event. We're gonna be family.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter. Um,
So, what she's basically saying is more food for me. Go
pretty
ahead.
much.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got you. Um, so how it got started was seven. This makes my 7th year of doing it.
Okay.
So 7 years ago, well, everybody knows I was in a very long relationship. So in that relationship, his family used to do a Father's Day dinner with all the dads, where the women would pay for all the men to go out to dinner. But for whatever
Really?
reason, we never were at these dinners. And I was like, not that I couldn't afford it, but I'm not sure if that was what his take was, and that's why we never went.
Mm.
But so you could see that he used to be upset that he didn't go or whatever. I used to tell him if I can't go, you just go, or whatever. But so I started it for him. So we started the first ever one at my house. I had a cookout in my backyard.
Mm.
I was like, let's just have a cookout with everybody. So then I invited you. Then it just turned into his brothers, his dad, my uncles. It just was something very small in the beginning. Just something for my people, more or less him and his people. And of course, I'm always going to invite mine. It just don't matter. So we
Yeah.
just did something, 3-4 tents in the backyard, a little box for the music. And I lived on Eastman Terrace, so kids had the field right in the front, little playground, little park right there. So everybody was fine. Then the second year did the same thing, right at my house again, right in the backyard. Then it became a little bigger from there. Started inviting a couple more people,
Mm.
people who weren't even like dads. I know great uncles, I know great coaches, I know
Yeah,
great
yeah,
men.
yeah.
So I just started
I feel like
inviting.
that still counts.
Yeah,
That's
started inviting
fatherhood.
people because they say it takes a village to raise a child, and a
Mm.
village could be multiple people.
Agree.
Um, so then, um, as everybody know, my life took a real drastic turn in my relationship. So I almost cut the Father's Day thing off because when I started it, I started for a certain individual. Now, I mean, that certain individual were no longer together, and I was like, I don't want to do this no more. My dad looked at me, and he goes, in my dad's words, if you know my dad, he said, I'll whoop your ass. I'm like, Daddy. He goes, I'm still your father, and we're still going to do this for me. So
Yeah, because what about
he was like,
everybody else? I
what
get it.
about everybody else?
Yeah.
And that's made me think like I was being kind of selfish. I was, revolving it around one person, when in all actuality, it was about all of you guys.
Yeah, but rightfully so. But I get it.
Yeah, that's why I started. So I was like, I'm just not gonna do it. My dad was like, Nah, I'm not having that. So then it went from my house. Then we went to the VFW because it started to get bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went to the VFW, it just became more. I started inviting more people that I knew. But the reason why I really keep Father's Day going is because I know a lot of great fathers who do not get the recognition that they deserve for being the great fathers. Because if you talk to the children the mothers they have children with, they're just POSs and they don't do nothing and things
Mm.
like that. But on the back end, I know them. I watch what they do. I see how they move. I know the moves that they're making for their children that never get highlighted because we only want to talk about the negative.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch all of you struggle as being dads, and you shouldn't have to struggle to be dads. You guys are great dads, great stepfathers. You guys step up when they need you. And I can go on about each and every one of you, but overall, it became a day about my bros. It became a day about my guys. It became a day about my cousins, my dad, my uncles, because my mom is the only girl in her family. She has 6 brothers. So I grew up with nothing but men.
Man,
There's
okay.
I could probably count on my hand how many female cousins I have in my set of women that I grew up with. Nothing but men in my family. And I wanted to just highlight them. So it's hard to be like, oh, let me just do something for you, and I'm gonna just do something for you. So I was like, you
Yeah.
know what? With the cookout, it just made it easier for me to do something for everybody at one time. So I started inviting like my friends, bring your dad. They're like, no, it's Father's Day, right? I was like, yeah, bring your dad too. So now that they've been bringing their dads don't want to do nothing else on Father's Day but
But
my event. Because when you come in there, um, it's the energy of love, it's the energy of family, it's the energy of just a nice day. Everything is calm. Every single person has a great time. The women run the show in a way, meaning like the men, y'all know, y'all just come. You might bring ice, chips, stuff like that, but all the cooking, 95% of that is me and my mom. And my kid's godmother does a little bit, my cousin does a little bit, my other cousin does a little bit, but 95% of that is me and my mom. The day is one of those things that's super duper important to me because I just love it when everybody comes together, mostly my guys, and everybody is just happy. Whatever is on their minds for that day is gone. It's just happiness all the way around. The men go
Respectable.
outside and they have a father-son basketball tournament outside with the kids. You'll see all the other kids playing in the park and having a great time with each other. Then you'll come inside and you'll see like my elders having a wonderful time. A lot of the times, people don't even get together until my cookout. Every year they just look forward to coming together to see everybody because my family comes from Connecticut, New Jersey, Maryland, Brooklyn. People I invite here in Poughkeepsie. There has been people I have invited to my Father's Day cookout probably 1, 2, 3 years in a row, never show up. So I'm like, then when it happens again, I'm gonna come next year. I'm like, invite dead now, because
We straight
you
you out.
didn't want to come when you say you're gonna come, and I do it by a head count in my head because that's how we prepare the
Prepare the
food.
food, yeah,
Because don't tell me you're gonna
respectable.
come and then you don't show up. Yes, things happen, but you blatantly just not showing up 3 years in a row. Like don't on the 4th one, oh yeah, I'm gonna be there. Now we good. You ain't got to worry about it.
No, I get
Like
that.
so that's why my Father's Day event is so important to me. And anybody who knows me knows I speak so highly of my event. Like I don't really do much for Mother's Day. You know, my homegirls, they get mad at me now because I'm not as elaborate for Mother's Day as I am
As
for
well for
Father's
Father's
Day.
Day.
Love them, I do, but I feel like us women, we want everything. We want Valentine's Day, we want Christmas, hell, we want our man's birthday. We can celebrate that too. It's like when that day is just about my men or just about men. The whole day is just a man's day. That's why I changed it from like my Father's Day event to my King's Day event because it's to celebrate all my kings. You should wake up every morning and feel like you are a king when you wake up, no matter what is going on in your life. You have to be able to move forward in a way where you're not downing yourself. You're not drowning yourself. You're not pouring into your depression or your sadness because that's what locks you in and takes you down. Um, my biggest thing I tell everybody, handle what's in your control. You can't do nothing about the things that's not in your control.
No, that's
And
agree.
because we dwell on the stuff that we can't even manage versus the stuff that we can. And I just, it's just a day for them. And everybody's like, that. Someone said to me the other day, your Father's Day brings you peace. And I said, it does. I don't know why it does. No matter how hectic that day goes, no matter how much sleep I don't get, that day brings me so much peace just to see everybody together. And it's hard for me to get all of you guys or all of us sometimes in one room because
Yeah.
we all have different lives and things like that. But Father's Day, we're all there. Everybody makes it. And that's one of the things like I cherish, like those moments. I never take enough pictures. I never walk around enough to take video because I'm always busy and I just bask in the moment. So I said this year I gotta find somebody to do content just a little bit. Gotta find somebody to take pictures for me even just a little bit because I don't take them.
Charge 200 an hour.
I'm not. Yeah, that sounded like free. That sounded like free. That sounded way like free.
I feel like
Question for you: how do you like?
That's what I was about to speak on.
Okay.
I think that it's definitely a dope event. I do. I love it. I love the atmosphere, like you said. Everybody's happy, right? Because you know, most days out of the year, fathers, I don't want to say they're overlooked, but the
You are
reality
overlooked.
is, yeah, we're taught as men to, basically just tighten up our boots and just go, walk through the mud like it is what it is. Ain't no crying, ain't no none of that. So whatever we go through in life, it's just we're taught to just handle that and then just let that be that. So, to have a day where it's like, yo, this is really for us. Like, there's no worries. We get to chill. You know, most of the time we get to eat first. You
Y'all
know
do
what I
get to
mean?
eat first.
You know
Y'all
what I
do
mean?
eat first.
So it be like it feels good to have, even if it's just one day, right? Because you ever had a long day at work and that day just felt like it's dragging on and stuff like that. So even if it's just one day where, a few hours where we can just bask in this, you know, emotion of just happiness and just freedom and just relax and our shoulders relax. Sometimes that's like a reset. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you have that day, you chill, you eat, you feel good, and then the next day you ready to tackle the world again because you had this reset. You get what I'm saying?
And
So
Father's Day every year is on a Sunday.
yeah, so
So, you know,
start your week off.
you
Yep.
start your week off in a positive note because when you leave the Father's Day event, you reflect on it for a couple of days.
Mhm.
You stay in it for a few days. My Aunt Jackie, she came for the first time um, last year.
I remember.
And for like 3 months, my uncle said she would not stop talking about my Father's Day event because she just loved how it was. How, it wasn't a lot. How we had all generations just mixing together and there was no
Mhm.
nonsense. Like, she just talked about it for so long that she had people in North Carolina, we gonna come up too kind of situations because they just want to see
To
like
see it.
like it couldn't have been that good, because that's how much she talked about it. And that's what I like about my Father's Day. I like for it to sit with you because it's a good thing. I like when you can sit and you can reflect on good things. We sit and we reflect so much on stuff that drains us
Mhm.
than we do on positivity. And it's annoying in a lot of ways.
And I say like, a lot of men we're simple creatures, right? So to have an event where it, shows the simplicity of us. We get a good meal, we get some laughs. It's not much that's needed. I mean, obviously it's a lot of hard work that goes into it behind the scenes that y'all do, which is much appreciated, right? But for us, how we look at it is like we got this whole spread of food. You always have like a DJ. You got music playing. You always got space for the kids, because guys, we're big kids ourselves. So we're outside, like you said. We might have a basketball game going or football, or we might just have something where it doesn't take much for us to be happy. You get what I'm saying? So it's like it shows how simplicity can just make people happy. You get what I'm saying? So it's always definitely appreciated. I'm sorry if y'all don't get an invite. I know I'm gonna be there. You know what I mean? But like she said, it's invite only. So if you a knucklehead, you just ain't coming. You know what I mean? Or if she invited you a couple times and you ain't show up, you just ain't coming. But you know what I mean? More food for me. Like, so keep doing what y'all doing. So that way I could get more plates, because I'll be going with like a
And
couple
that's
to
another
go
thing. There'll
plates.
be so much food left. There'll be so much food people can take food home.
Mm.
And that's not even out the 2, 3 times people get up to eat. And this year I actually have to span the food table out 2 tables because we didn't even get a chance to put everything out when it was time to serve. So when everybody was packing plates, all the stuff that was missed was what was there because we didn't have a chance to move it around. And
Next time, just
I know, I appreciate you. So this year's theme, because every year I'm trying to have a different type of theme. Remember that one year we did like the basketball theme or the sports theme, so everybody came in their sports
sports.
attire. So
Yeah.
this year it's black and white king theme, like chess.
Okay.
So
That's dope.
who's the most powerful person on the table, the king on the table. So that's how it's gonna be. So it's gonna be black and white king theme. Everything's gonna be chess theme. Like this year, I got my girl Quita from Paradigm Events. She's gonna come and decorate the entire thing for me. because she came last year. She's like, Yanni, it's so plain in here. She said, but you have so much space to do. So I said, girl, I decorate. I could. She decorates. So we're gonna collab. So we've been collabing for months on how it's gonna look. I told her she has creative control over that because that's not my thing. I've seen her even. Matter of fact, she was the one who did Dad's wedding.
Okay.
They did all the
That's
tables
dope.
and all the tree tables and all
Yeah.
that. Her. So
Okay.
she's gonna come and she's going to decorate the whole thing for me this year. And that was on her. Like she's like, I want to do it. I was like, bet, let's let's do it. So I got 5 tables of food coming out this year. Invitation actually goes
5 tables.
6 because we only had 4 last year, so it'll be 6 this year. Because we have to expand out that middle piece. So I even have to go to Durant's this year and actually order tables
Same
and
place
order
as
chairs.
last year?
Same place as last year. Because it's just easier. It's air conditioner for the older people that don't want to really be outside. The kids can go in and out. Don't got to worry about traffic. You know, um, you ever notice that the dads be here, the kids be there? Because nobody
Mhm.
really worries about their children there because they know
Everybody.
if the adults are outside with those kids, they're being watched.
Mhm.
If they're inside with the adults, they're being watched. You can have an amazing time at my Father's Day event. Might even forget your child there sometimes because it's just a day. Like everyone just enjoys their time. I be running like a chicken with my head cut off, so I don't be knowing what's going on most of the time. But we be in there. My mom and I probably stay up 24 hours to cook most of that food just so it's all ready and fresh the next day. Um, then the next day we cook the stuff that you can't cook overnight, like macaroni and cheese and like a lot of things you can't make the night before.
Mhm.
So a lot of that stuff gets done. So we're working on the menu now because like I said, invitation gets sent out May 1st, menu goes out June 1st. So you always know what we're gonna be expecting on this table. And when you look at my menu, you're like, oh, this stuff ain't gonna make it on that menu. Then you get there, it's all there. It's all
Mhm.
there. You
I
talk
can
about three or
contest
four
to that.
types of rice. You could talk about 4 or 5 different pastas. Even my vegan, shout out to Aunt. Even Aunt has food on the table for him because I make sure it's catered to my men. I have a pescatarian, so I got to make sure there's seafood or fish and things like that to feed him. There's barely ever any pork because nobody really eats pork, so there's no pork ever. There's
I'm
no
an
pork.
eatatarian, so just make sure you
Yeah,
have
we
a
know we
bit.
got enough for you. I promise you
Uh,
that. So I got enough food for. I make sure that there's food for everyone when they come. There's no such thing as I ate before I came because they might not have what I want to eat because I eat a certain way. Now it's all there. So I try to make sure everyone is satisfied. Don't get me wrong, my ladies' day definitely do help me out this year. I got a committee, so shout out to my squad this year. It's always the same women that help me serve, clean up, set up. So we will still be handling that. Um, but yeah, we just like to have a good time. I like my main thing is for you guys to have a great time, for my dad to have a great time, for my father-in-law to have a great time because the day is for them. I love it when you know my ex-in-laws still show up. They still come. They have a bomb time. Because at the end of the day, we're all still family. So I like that they show up. My Brooklyn family comes, and I know, like, since my grandma passed away, it has been a little harder to do it
mhm.
because like I miss her. She was like, even though she stopped coming because she started getting sicker, but she would still be in the kitchen with me.
J-
What are you doing with this? What are you doing with that? So like this year, I'm gonna put her on my shirt, so she's walking around with me or whatever. But it's just been a difficult situation, just trying to navigate loss in
Mm.
a sense, and still try to put on this face to be there for my people
For
because
everybody.
I'm gonna do it.
Nah, that's strong. I respect that. I'm gonna let y'all know too before we continue with the podcast. If y'all DM me with $200, I might send y'all the Addy. But we'll talk about that later. Um,
That
I'm
boy
just
inbox
joking.
about to be flooded. Whatever you get, I need half, bitch. That's my money.
Snap. So let me ask you this. So, obviously, like you said, you feel strong about the men in your life, the fathers, the coaches, the uncles, everybody who takes part in, you know, helping kids be who they are and helping, protect the community and um, the women in the community. They just help overall protect the community. Do you feel like there is a lack of protection for the fathers in the community?
Yes, and I'll be honest. I always say that because there's a lot of men who are being portrayed as being terrible men, all because a lot of times women are in their feelings about however their relationships
Mm-hmm.
went with them or things like that. Um, don't get me wrong, I easily could have been one of those people too, but I chose not to be because it's not about me; it's about my children. Um, Even though him and I don't get along, that has nothing to do with the relationship I want him to have with the
With the
sons
kid.
that we have.
That's gross
I
right
don't
there.
want that for them. I always tell my kids, don't let how I feel be how you feel because that's not how this is going to go. Um, However, his relationship is with our children, that's how it. I want it to be. That's his relationship with them. I can't dictate how it goes. I'm not gonna tell him, oh no, you can't have them this weekend, or you can't have them then. No, take them. They are yours as much as they are mine. If you want them, they can go. But I do feel like women don't protect good fathers as they do the bad ones. And when I say the bad ones, everybody's so quick to yell out what somebody hasn't done, but never shouts out what they do.
Mm-hmm.
We always hear the negative if, in any aspect, but no one ever gives the man the props for showing up for the proms, or showing up for the concerts, or showing up for their sporting events, just little small things, um, and stuff like that. You always hear, oh, he ain't want to give me no money for this, or oh, he got a new so and so now he don't want to be around his kids. When that could probably never be the case. It could be him having a new so and so, and you don't want him around the kids because he has a new so and so.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's another problem that I have. The control aspect of how kids are, um, in the co-parenting world.
Yes.
Let's put it like that, the co-parenting world. Um, I'm a firm believer, and you know I am, on great co-parenting with your other person. I am strong on that because we don't have to be together to raise them.
Okay, yeah.
And
But that takes maturity and
but
growth. Not everybody
but
has
no one
that.
had. A lot of people don't have that. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what I said. It takes a lot of it. And a lot of time it don't be the man. And I hate to say, like, I see why a lot of men be like, you know what? I just throw my hands up
Yeah.
because they have to work real hard to be a father. Why?
Just to get the basics.
Just to get
Mm-hmm.
small stuff. And then that's another reason why I throw my Father's Day event because it irks my soul when women be like, oh, I'm the dad too. No, you're not. You're not. You're not the dad.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes us women, we put ourselves in position to be mom and dad because you're refusing to help
allow
him to be
yes.
that parent.
Yeah.
You want the money, but you don't want him to be able to be the parent. You want the assets.
Mm-hmm.
No, we can't do both. There is women out here who truly have to be the mom and the dad because either the father's incarcerated or they're gone from this world and
I mean,
stuff like that.
there are definitely straight up deadbeats.
There are straight up
You know what I mean?
deadbeats. There are. But that's also another thing. If you know he's a deadbeat, why are we going to keep chasing it? Why do we keep
No,
giving
that's a
and
fact.
putting light on it?
Yeah, trying
If
to
you
force
know
it.
that person is not where he's supposed to be or where he's supposed to be at, why keep putting it on blast that he's a deadbeat or whatever? Handle your business, because at the end of the day, I always tell women, it was our choice to have these children more than the men.
Mm-hmm.
It was our choice to have the kids.
It's your body.
That's
your
why I
choice.
always said I chose to have all my children. They mine. They here. They mine. So whether if me and him were on good terms or bad, I still have to make sure I maintain them, regardless of what's going on here, because
Mm-hmm.
I chose to have it. And then, like I said, there are times where the mom may not have it and she needs help from the dad. There might be times where the dad does not have it and he might need help from her. It's with the child. It's teamwork.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's teamwork. Do I believe in child support to an aspect? But I feel like if you have a man who's very active, who, if you call him and he gets the sneakers and he gets the clothes and he's handling whatever you need him to handle, why is he on child support? It's selfish. Because a lot of times we're not using child support for the child. And everybody
No,
knows
that's
that.
a fact. It's a you know, I know we shine light on like the women because definitely I'm a guy. I go through my own situation. Story coming soon. I got my own situation going on. However, I do want to say like it is definitely there's men out there too that's just as bitter as the women. Like there's a whole community of bitter parents. You know what I'm saying? Women and men. When the men see she moved on because she's worried about her happiness now, he starts to get bitter, starts to do stuff. Same thing when the women see he moved on or he's really not messing with her like that or whatever the case is, she gets bitter. And it's a sad thing to see, but it's sad, but it's also like in a sense, there's a normality behind it because it happens so often. Like it's sort of like we're used to this, we're expecting this.
And it's
You
sad
know,
that it's a normality in our
it is,
community.
it is.
And it's sad that in our community we have a tendency of lacking emotional intelligence
Hmm.
when instead of we use our emotions to do dumb shit
Over the logic.
over the logic. That's why a lot of times I'm very logical with certain things. Like I'll think about it first, and then like you ever hear a story and somebody's telling you something, but deep down you're like something missing.
Yeah,
A lot of
of
the
course.
times, whether if it comes from the man or the woman, I'm like
That's the Virgo.
something's missing in
Hmm.
this conversation.
It doesn't
So I'm a
sound
big
right.
fan of let me get both sides of the story so I can start piecing things together.
Everything
And
to
that's a
yep.
lot of things that we don't do in our community. We'll always just take one side of something,
And then,
and we'll take the
hmm
negative side real fast because it sounds good. And then when that person speaks, we already got our mind made up because oh, that sign just sounded so good that we just believe what they said. But over on the flip side of whether it could be the male or the female, it could be completely different.
hmm
But everybody, we like negative so much, like it just sounds good. And you know how long negativity will sit with
with
people and or on that person all because they believed it coming
yep.
from whoever it came from. And I think that's a problem too.
No, I agree with you. I definitely agree with that. So let me, before we get up out of here, do you have a message for the bitter community?
I don't really
Uh,
have a message for the bitter community because, like I said, I think people have their own emotions and how they choose to use them. But I do say take your children out of it if you have them. Because I always feel like you raise your children in whatever emotions that you're in. So if you're sad, you raise your children sad. If you're angry, you raise your children angry. If you're depressed, you raise your children depressed. So if you're bitter, you're raising bitter children.
you know what? I agree with that. That's actually a good point.
So
That's a perspective that a lot of people need to
So
understand.
then when we go outside and we see these really bad kids and these really angry kids and these really, emotionally undeveloped children and these children like that, we automatically chalk it up to something's wrong with them and never realizing how are they being parented. And I
Hmm.
always said to myself, I never wanted to be that parent that my children got to heal from, but I also had to do my own healing in my own world to parent them the way I need to.
No,
And I learned that kind of late, but every parent yells. We all gonna
it's
yell.
no such thing as learning late.
But I mean, like learning my own emotions,
Yeah. No,
like
no,
and
no. I
how
get
to
it.
handle
As long
them.
as we breathe and we learning.
Yeah,
So.
every day I learn something.
Hmm.
Every day I learn something new. But I'm big on how children are. That's why I have 4 of my own children. I got 14 godchildren, and the age ranges from 21 down to 2. Okay, and I'm active with all of them. They all know Yanni. I see them all. You see them at my Father's Day event. Most of them all be there. And I like to stay active with them because sometimes children need a safe space outside of their parent. Um, Maybe that parent isn't a safe space and they need to talk to somebody else. I like to be that safe space for them because I want to know what's going on with them just so we're not having tantrums and we're not jumping off the deep end and we're not
Mm.
fighting all the time at school with other people and why are you being disrespectful today and like things of that nature because
No, I
a lot
agree.
of times that's why I said it takes a village to raise children because I might not be who my children need to talk to at the moment. They might need their uncles.
Somebody. Yeah.
They might need my mom. They might need that. They have to have somebody to talk to because remember growing up, we barely had people to talk to. We just bottled it all in here, and then eventually we lash out. I don't want to have kids that lash out. I let my kids be. I let my kids speak their emotions. What the problem is, it might not have to be at that moment, but we need to discuss it because when it sits, it lingers, and then it becomes a problem, and then you start doing other nonsense because you're not feeling right in here.
No, I agree with that.
And as parents, we know our children. We know when they're good. We know when they're bad. And that's just like with anybody. I always feel like you should know your people, especially you should know your people in their silence. But a lot of
That's a
times
good
when our
point.
peoples are silent, it might not be nothing wrong, and everything could be heavy. So it could be one of the two.
No, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I really don't have a rebuttal for that because that was actually a good perspective that I think a lot of people need to hear and a lot of people need to, take in, which is, you know, we basically reflect within our children. So how we are, that's how they're gonna be. That's how the world is gonna see them. And like you said, because it definitely makes a good point where like I could see a kid out, And we might say, oh, this kid is bad, but realistically, it's just you can tell the type of parenting he's going through or she's going through, you know, or what type of parents they have, I should say,
Yeah.
right? The type of parents that the little boy, the little girl, or, you know, they may have because of their behaviors. And their behaviors are reflected from how their parents act and their parents behave and things that their parents do or may not do or things that are said or may not have been said to
Or
them,
things that they're shown.
like things that they're taught, that they're not taught, and same thing how you said with like silence. Sometimes people learn from silence. Like when certain things aren't said, they're learning, you know, how to do things by themselves. Or sometimes it's like, well, they never said I can't do it. So because of the silence, that's how they learn how to do things as well. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with what you're saying.
But two sets of people I respect: coaches and teachers.
No, I get it. Especially if they don't have kids of their own.
That too, but I just feel like coaches more because, like, AJ plays flag football and stuff like
Mm.
that. So I just be out there watching them, and you'll see 95% of the time it's single moms on the sideline with our kids trying to get them into football, right? Or play something. But then when that coach is too hard on their child, now that mom wants to yell at the coach for being too much with their son, and now he's out the game or he's gone. That's the problem. Your son might need that toughness because he doesn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And
That
each
you're
and
not
every
willing to
time
do.
somebody gets into him, he's going to reflect, oh, my mom is going to come and get me up out of this. There might be a time your mom can't.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens?
And the sad part about it is, because that's a little bit, like I said, story coming soon, but that's a little bit of like my situation, right? Where like sometimes, and not to bash the moms out there or anything like that, this is just a reality coming from a father's perspective, right? Where sometimes women, especially when the parents aren't together, and the mom has her time, the dad has his time, or whatever, right? But the women tend to raise their sons, especially when it's sons. Daughters different, but they tend to raise their sons in a world that they grew up in, not realizing that the world is not going to see their sons as a woman or whatever race you are. The world is not going to see your sons as that. They're going to see them as young men, and the world is going to treat them as such, right? So things that may have been beneficial to you or things that may have worked in your favor or how you was able to maneuver through the world, you have to have a clear understanding that your son cannot move through the world the same way as you did. You get what I'm saying? They're not going to look at y'all in the same way. You might have been able, and I'm just using this for an example, right? But you might have been able to bat your eyes and get out of a situation. It's not going to work for your son. You get what I'm saying? Like, you may have been able to fall down and somebody's there to grab your hand and pick you up and, you all right, ma'am? And that's not going to work for your son. Somebody might see him fall and be like, oh, he's going to be all right. Your son has to know these type of things. He has to learn these type of things. And I think that it's not really bad parenting if you don't know. However, I do feel like a lot of women do have that perspective where they try to raise their sons how they were raised or how they maneuver through the world, not realizing the world is not going to look at them in the same light. So that's, if I had a message for my moms out there, that would be my message to y'all, is hopefully y'all understand that. And this has been another episode of the Love Talk. You always here with your boy, Mr. McKinney. Go ahead, I'll let you introduce yourself.
No, go ahead. I'll let you.
My lovely guest here.
Guest soon to be co-host because he needs some help.
I do need some help. There we go. She talking to fruition. Check her out for any type of meals you need. Check her out for any type of desserts. I'm gonna let her, say her business again. And like I said, I'm gonna put it at the bottom so y'all could go follow her on IG. She's gonna get the Facebook up and running soon. Maybe by the time this comes out, she'll have a Facebook up, and I'll put that in there too. But let them know where they can find you at.
So once again, you can find me at _taste of flavors _ Instagram, spelled TASTETEFLAVORS. PHAFLAVZ on Instagram. If you're also on Facebook, also find me at Miss Yanni Marisha. I'm also there too. Most importantly, my last thing I want to say is support, uplift, and encourage your people. It takes a little bit to just be there for people, even if you don't know them. Sometimes just telling someone something encouraging can help them
Have a
that
good
day.
day.
Have a great day. Everybody tells me smile.
All the time.
um, just be able to be human because we're all human. None of us are robots. And I feel like we lack compassion and empathy in the world that we live in now. And it all needs to be brought back because I feel like if we all were more there for each other, it wouldn't be as bad as it is. Be more of a safe space to lean on, not a safe space to tell their place.
Say that again.
Be a safe space, not a place to tell their place.
Y'all know who we at, where we at. This is
And
the
we
Love
out.
Talk.
Be back soon.
Yeah. We definitely be back soon.